Hi everyone. Well, a little while since I posted a video and quite a lot going on in the world of electric cars and quite big news on the Audi e-tron at the moment. It's been in the press a fair bit recently. So I just thought I'd do a little update here from Dallas, Texas, which is where I've been sent to with work at the moment. Well, personally, I'm using the car an awful lot for commuting. The Triumph has gone back in the garage for the winter, and that won't be used a great deal in the winter conditions, and I am using the Audi a lot for my commute. I'm still getting good efficiency on it. I'm still getting kind of 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour, and that isn't too bad at all as far as I'm concerned. Not the most efficient car on the road by a long way, but it is working out quite well on a long run. Shorter journeys around town, if I'm only sort of popping down to drop one of my kids at Scouts or something, only doing a mile or two, then I do notice the efficiency much worse. But on these long runs of 85 miles up to Heathrow and back again, then I am seeing reasonable efficiency. But of course, efficiency and running costs are closely linked. Energy prices changed a lot 1st of October. It's now mid-November, so I have done a little bit of maths for you, and I will just go through the rough running costs of what is one of the least efficient electric cars out there, and just so you can compare that with a petrol or diesel. So my energy costs with Bulb, and I can't get a smart meter at the moment. Bulb don't have any engineers in the area, they're in special administration. I am expecting a swap over to Octopus at some point in the near future, or one of the other energy companies, and be able to get a smart meter and go to an EV specific tariff. But I've done a little bit of maths, and I am aware at the moment petrol costs about £1.66 a litre. That is £7.47 for a Imperial British gallon, and I'm paying 34 pence per kilowatt hour for my energy. Now that is up a lot. When I ordered the car, it was about 16p. When the car was delivered, it was 20. That went up to 28 a few months ago, and I'm now paying 34. So quite a significant rise in my energy costs for the car. But worst case scenario, and I've just got the maths here that I'm going to refer to, if I said that the car got 2 miles per kilowatt hour, and that really is very, very poor, and that's the only kind of numbers that you might see on a short run in the cold. You might get kind of numbers down there. Well, that would give you equivalent of about 45 miles per gallon efficiency if you're paying 34 pence for your electricity units. Now, at the best case scenario, you're up at 3, and that is if you've got a long cross-country run, and that is working out more like getting 65 miles to the gallon with a petrol car. Now, I did read a road test on the current Audi Q8. That's available as a TFSI petrol hybrid, and on the road test, they got 27 to the gallon. So no doubt at all in my mind, although the Audi e-tron is inefficient in the world of electric cars, and you can get cars that do 4 or 5 miles for every kilowatt hour of electricity, significantly better than the Audi. None of them have the size and the comfort of the Audi, and the Audi is working out pretty cheap to run compared to an equivalent petrol car or equivalent diesel car. Remember, diesel costs a bit more than petrol does, and therefore instead of getting equivalent to 65 to the gallon, you'd probably have to achieve over 70 in a diesel just to kind of get the same efficiency and running costs per mile. So still looking good for electric cars, and if I can swap over to Octopus Go and get most of my recharging done at about 7.5 pence per kilowatt hour, that will slash my costs down to about a quarter of what they are, and we're going to be talking sort of 200 plus miles per gallon equivalent running costs. Second bit of news, this one's more personal for me. My Audi is just coming up to 18,000 miles, and I'm pretty sure the Audi website says a service for an EV every 18,000 miles or every 2 years. But the service advisor has just come up on the dashboard, and that says service due in 1,000 miles from now at about 19,000. So I can't tell you really whether the car is due for service every 18,000 or every 19,000. But my lease company uses independent service networks, not Audi. I didn't want to pay the premium for Audi servicing, and the service quality that I've got and the customer service I've had at my local Audi dealership has been pretty poor when dealing with a warranty issue. So the fact that I'm going to an independent, that suits me just fine. They are still going to give me a courtesy car, and the car is being serviced on Thursday. So I will let you know how that goes and whether they are still able to do any kind of software updates and stuff like that with the e-tron. But overall, no other issues with the car other than that airbag fault I had a little while ago, and having been told that they needed to see the fault live and analyse it because there were 3 different components and they didn't know which one it would be. When it went back in, they said that they have to change the entire unit and swap all the parts in one unit because they all come together. But that was done under warranty. But as I said, they were able to get the parts the next day. But customer service wise, not the best down at my local Audi dealership, and there's nothing about anything that they have done for me that makes me really think that I really want to stick with Audi and get good service. My local Mazda dealers have been terrific, my local Hyundai dealers have been terrific, even BMW were good a few years ago when I last used them when I was running a 5 Series. But Audi have been pretty poor at my local dealership for customer service, I'm afraid to say. And not quite finally, there's one little any other business at the end, but there is a new Audi e-tron out there. What Audi have done is they have rebadged the current car, and they've stopped calling it the e-tron, which is a brand they're using across all their electrified models, and they have called the current e-tron 50 and 55s, they are calling them Audi Q8 e-trons. Now, as far as I can see, you can still buy a Q8, which is a very slightly different shape, but is a similar size and has a fairly similar interior to it. So the car that I drive can now be bought as an Audi Q8 e-tron. And again, that is still available as a sportback or as an SUV, which isn't really an SUV. It's more like the Audi Allroads. It's just a long, tall estate car. There's quite a big change in drive chain. They have swapped something around on the rear motor. They've added more electrical coils. They've upped the torque. And they have changed a lot of the battery technology, and they've given the thing a bit of a facelift. So it should be a little bit more slippery and a little bit smoother on the airflow, which would all help with some efficiency gains. And they're taking a lot of the technology they've got from the e-tron GT and some of the other new models they've got in development just to improve things. Anyway, the big news as far as I'm concerned is now the e-tron 50, which used to have about a 71 kilowatt hour battery. That is now up to a similar usable battery to the current e-tron 55. Now, the e-tron 55 is no slouch. It's a 300 kilowatt motor in it, so that's 400 horsepower. But the e-tron 50 isn't far behind. It's 250 kilowatts, so it's only down a little bit. So it's like driving my 55 around without the boost mode active. And because of the efficiency gains, and because the usable battery is now up to about 89 kilowatt hours, that means the current e-tron 50 has as much usable capacity on its battery as my car. It's only down 50 kilowatts in overall power output, so it's no slouch. It still does 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. It's going to give you all the comfort with the air suspension. The interior is almost the same, but the efficiency gains on it means it's got quite a significant range upgrade and efficiency boost compared to my current car. And pricing looks about where my car is. So if I wanted to swap my car for a new model of as similar as possible, I would not be going for a new 55 with its bigger battery and bigger range. I would be sticking with a 50. And that would work out quite well for me, I think. Just that small range increase isn't necessary, but would be nice, but the efficiency gains look pretty good to me. But one other bit of big news, and this is going to be the subject of quite a few videos on the channel. We have now got a second electric vehicle in our garage. We went shopping a couple of weeks ago, took delivery at the weekend, and we now have a new EV. What I can say is it is, I reckon, the most efficient EV that's on general sale, and it's quite low range. It's got quite a small battery, but it is incredibly efficient, and it is being used by my 16-year-old son as the main user of it. So that should give you a few clues. It was back at Bewley Electric Car Day that we saw it. That's in an old video of mine. So you get a few clues there as to what it could be. But that is going to be subject to a few videos, and Ben, my son, and I are hoping that you get to enjoy some of those too in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching. I know this is just a bit of a rant from a hotel room in Dallas, Texas, but I'm going to pop this together, load it up on the channel, and just hope you enjoy for our little update on the e-tron with the new model and the running costs.